Good evening. You're watching the Cheese Room podcast. I'm the caller, and joining me tonight, I've got several guests. But before we get into that, there's just time to mention that this channel is supported by Football Prizes. .co.uk, and this week's prize on there is a Harry Kane, as it should happen, signed White Hart Lane framed sign. So that's very good. $3.95 a ticket. There's 65 tickets, and you can save 10% by using the code 10cheese. So that's footballprizes.co.uk. Do get over there and have a look. They've got some great prizes on there. So let's go around the room this evening. So I'm joined as ever now by Shan. How are you, Shan? You all right? You good?
Yeah. This week has been like Christmas for me, caller. I'm not gonna lie. I'm absolutely buzzing.
Talk me through Christmas.
Christmas. Well, obviously, where do you want me to start? You've got obviously City missing out on Kane.
Yeah, love that.
City fans saying that thank you, Daniel Levy. We're signing Cristiano Ronaldo. Ronaldo's gone to Manchester United.
Yeah, that's
the
good.
GOAT. Musa Sissoko is moving on to pastures new.
The GOAT, yeah.
The GOAT. We've signed a wonder kid.
We have signed a wonder kid, yeah. We'll come on to him. Pape Sarr, yeah.
Brian Gill obviously lighting up the Europa Conference League like as well last night. So there's lots and lots. And we're unbeaten this season in the league. So there's lots and lots to be happy about. And I'm off to the lane on Sunday. So Christmas.
Yeah. It's going to be good. It's going to be a good day at the lane. I hope it is. Our next guest, as ever, he's from Australia. He's still locked down. He's still grumpy. Dave-O, how you doing, mate?
I'm really well this morning. Really well indeed. Very excited about the draw for the Europa Conference League. Looking forward to us clashing against the mighty, the titans of European football. So it should be good.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Great to have you back. And of course, we have an opposition fan on the show tonight. So joining us from TMA, it's the Pidge. How are you doing, my man?
Yeah, good mate. Looking forward to Sunday. Should be a cracking game, and it's an honour to come on your podcast, guys. Thank you.
No, thanks for coming on, and we welcome all fans, just not Manchester City ones.
Yeah.
And also making his Cheese Room debut tonight, Michael Cook from that Tottenham group. How you doing tonight, Michael? You good? Oh, you're on mute, mate.
Hello.
There you go.
Yeah, nice to be here. Nice to see you all. Fresh off a win last night, of course. And like Shan said, a few outgoings in the transfer market. So, yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah, nice to see you as well. And congratulations on your debut.
Thank you.
I hope it's significantly more successful than Musa Sissoko's maybe on Sunday.
Yeah, let's try.
So let's get straight into it. Pidge, how do you think Watford are going to line up this weekend against us? What can we expect to see?
I think Danny Rose has had a good run out against Palace on Tuesday, so we're quite glad he got a run out. I think we'll probably set up in a 4-3-3 and with the likes of Dennis Sarr, and I think Hernandez looking very, very fresh from Tuesday night, and he had this fantastic goal against Villa at home in our first game of the season as well. So he's an up-and-coming player that we've waited about 3 years to really come of age. So yeah, I think we're looking at 4-3-3 there. We've got Kiko Femenia and Serrao. We've been desperate for one of our centre backs to come back in Siriata. So yeah, I think we'll set up to, well, shall we say, I mean, typical Watford way, absorb play and then end up getting absolute hammering. So hopefully we don't do that, and at least try and get a performance out of the team after the disappointing game last week against Brighton. And yeah, I mean, against one of the, shall we say, the Premier League big boys, you know, as long as we come to you guys and put in a performance, you know, if it all goes the way it should do in form and then you beat us, you know, we've got nothing to really complain about. I think that's our main worry, is just getting there and trying to put in a performance that will kick us on into the home game against Wolves after the international break.
And what have you made of the start to the season you've had down at Watford? Is it still Vicarage Road? It is Vicarage Road there, isn't it?
Yeah, still at the Mecca. We were sort of looking at ground near Bushy Way. Dave was saying where he sort of originates from just before we're not on air. And luckily, the mayor of Watford's just quashed that. We're pretty much going to stay there, so we're still there at the moment. And yeah, fantastic win against Villa. I was dead happy with that. You know, we needed to get off the mark quickly because we know what sometimes, especially when we've been promoted, we've been notorious slow starters. So we really needed. It was a tough game against Villa. We were the better side for most of the game. Brighton game was very, very disappointing, but I think it was I think Troy Deeney said it in his programme notes on Tuesday night that it was a wake-up call that we needed very, very early. We'd rather have that than hit a bad spell, say 10 games in, and then hit a bit of a slide. If we take stock of it now and improve on it, say on Sunday night or Sunday afternoon, it's a good thing. So yeah, I've been relatively happy. Transfer window's been really, really good. I've been one of the main critical of the Potso's 2 or 3 transfer windows, but the championship season last season and this season, I've been dead happy. And obviously with Sissoko coming as well, we're outstanding signing from our point of view, experienced player. And Shannon very kindly came on TMA earlier as well and gave us a very excellent in-depth analysis of obviously your chances and how you're getting on and what we expect from from Sissoko as well. So yeah, he's a straight swap for Hughes because we know he's going to Palace. So yeah, so Sissoko is definitely an upgrade on him. So we're
definitely
happy.
We'll definitely come to Mr. Sissoko later on in the show. Michael, what have you made of Tottenham's start so far? 2 games, 2 wins.
Yeah,
it's all right so far. Not really firing up front, but what do you think?
No, I mean obviously not a lot of goals, but definitely a bit more solid at the back, which was great to see. I was very surprised by Sanchez and Dyer's start to the season, I must be honest. I'm hoping to see Romero come in though eventually within the next couple of games and really cement a first team place. See a glimpse of him last night. He looked really good. I think he's definitely the centre back we need at the back. But overall the start, can't really complain. Can be 2 wins, 6 points. A bit disappointing with the first leg in the Conference League. Put it right last night, but yeah, overall I'm happy. Really happy. Yeah.
Okay. And Shan, what are your main memories of Danny Rose? Because obviously Danny Rose, he might start maybe Pidge at the weekend. Do you think?
Yeah, I believe he will. We had a good game on Tuesday night, and Messina's looking a bit edgy. Good defender, but I think Rose with his experience and we can keep him fit off. Yeah, definite starter Sunday, I think.
What reception do you think he'll get, Shan?
I think he'll get a really positive reception. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't. I think it did get a little bit embarrassing for him towards the end. Obviously, I don't think the Amazon documentary helped him. And the fact he was coming out in interviews saying that he needed to Google all our signings. Let's be honest, we all need to Google our signings half the time. So, yeah, I think he sort of tarnished it a little bit with silly comments like that. But everything he did on the pitch, he was always playing for the badge. And who remembers that worldie against Arsenal?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Davo, what are your main memories of Danny? What's your favourite memories of Danny, I should say?
Oh, look, he's obviously the goal against the Goons. I mean, as Shan said, what a way to mark your debut. That was just unbelievable. That season, the last season at the Lane, when you had Walker and Rose bombing down the wings, fast, very fast, attacking, really good. And you look at the legacy of Pochettino. I mean, Walker and Rose under AVB and Dim Deadwood were shocking, and they did an amazing job. He did an amazing job in improving them. And I mean, to the remarks about Google and stuff like that, Danny Rose, I really like Danny Rose for his honesty because you really rarely get that these days. And
he fits your narrative, Dave, doesn't he? So absolutely.
Well, he does fit my narrative because he 6 months before the Google interview, he was on 5 Live Friday night just after he finished second, and he was calling out the fact that the players wanted to get paid more and that the market for fullbacks that summer was going to be huge. I think for Danny Rose, that injury against Sunderland that year when he was out for a long time cost him his big move up north that he wanted. And he was honest. And the last thing, one thing I really liked about him, and last year when he was, I mean, the Amazon documentary set him up to make him look bad, obviously, and others were made to look good in that. But the last thing is that last season he spent with the under-23s, and even going back to watch the under-23s now and the team talks he gave, and all those the under-23 players who talk fondly of him, shows the mark of a man. So he should get a big reception on the weekend.
I think he will. There's definitely going to be a rendition of Daddy Rose, 100%. I can see it coming. I've got nothing but love for the guy. I really haven't. I thought he annoyed me with his interviews, and I wish he kept his mouth shut at times. But in a Spurs shirt, he always gave his all, and he did care about the club. And obviously, he scored that goal against the Goons, so he'll always absolutely go into that. HG's not joining us tonight, but he's asking what I'm drinking. So tonight, Matthew, I'm drinking a gin and tonic, which is rather nice. If you're wondering what the red bits are, they're lingonberries, because absolutely I like to be as middle class as possible. And he's also wants to tell everyone that he's sniffing louder than a Monica Seles grunt right now, which is why his dulcet tones are out of action. So, but he is in the chat. So if you've got any flame or fire for HG, don't be shy. Please do send it over there. How do you think we're going to line up at the weekend, Shan? Will Kane start again? He obviously he's played in midweek.
Yeah, I think that'll be the only change. It'll be Kane in for Lucas, I think. Lucas had a great start against City, was really good, was promising in pre-season, but I think in the Wolves game and against Passos, he sort of dipped in form a little bit, whereas Bergwijn, I feel like, is growing with each game. So I think it'll definitely be Lucas out for Kane. And I hope we see Bryan Hill on as a sub as well. I think he's got so much potential. I think he could light up in a Spurs shirt. I'm really excited to see what he can bring.
He looked brilliant last night. He looked really good.
Didn't he, Michael?
He was always wants the ball. I love players that just want the ball all the time. He's always looking for it on the half turn. Lovely little touches here and there. He was always involved. That's what I like, especially from a winger. Come and get the ball. So. It's easy to stand out wide, isn't it, and not get involved. But he was literally coming inside every time, trying to take the ball forward, and unlucky to hit the post as well. Would have been nice to see him bag a goal in the stadium. And yeah, I think he's definitely got to be looking to get on the pitch soon, like as a sub at least for Sunday. Definitely.
I said on last night's pod, I think he's got fantastic balance. That's what strikes me. You see a lot of wingers; they look a bit clumsy. I mean, you look at Sessegnon; he looks really clumsy with the ball at his feet. But I thought Hill looked absolutely on it. He's sort of small in that kind of Messi mould, and I'm not saying he's going to be anything like Messi, but he's small and he's low centre of gravity, and it really looked.
Just rides the tackles, didn't he? Rides the tackles.
Yeah.
Draws fouls as well, which is great. But yeah, I think he's like a mix of a couple of players for me. He's a bit like, I can see what you're saying with the Messi side of it. He's a little bit like David Silva for me as well. He plays a little bit like that, where he's always on the half turn, always looking to go forward. It could be a special player, definitely.
Pidge, is there anyone we should be really worried about? Who's going to score the goals for you?
Ismail Assar is our main danger man. Most of the play goes through him on the right hand side. I think he's got a little bit more freedom this season. Well, when we look at it with the Championship, they stuck about 3 men on him, but we've improved a little bit in different areas. And I think Assar will be the main one. Defensively, Siriarta, if he starts, to be our main hope to keep your plethora of forwards out. I'll probably ask for him. We were looking at Kuka coming back, who's our free transfer signing from Parma, who looks an absolute beast against Villa, which have been absolute ideal to have him aside the likes of Sissoko and Atobu as well. So yeah, Sarr definitely the main man for us, and possibly Hernandez.
Capu did brilliantly when he left us and went to you, didn't he? I wonder if Sissoko will be a similar story.
He was fantastic. I mean, we had one period about a couple of years ago when we reached the FA Cup final. I don't want to mention much about the final, but the run up to the final, him and Decore were two of the best central midfielders in the Premier League. And a lot of the people saying in terms of their stats, they're absolutely solid. He did really well. He was one of those players that we looked at. We've questioned a lot of signings, and we said, look, we always hark on about the impact Capu made, where he came to us relatively unknown. Didn't really, I mean, obviously you had better players in those positions, didn't really get much of a player at Spurs, came to us and was excellent. So, yeah.
You see it a lot with Spurs players, though. People like Sissoko, he hasn't played consistently for a long time. And I think sometimes people do just need running the team. You don't really get a chance to make many mistakes at Spurs. You make a mistake, people are on your back straight away. And 62,000 of them in the new stadium. So it can be quite difficult for people if they're not high on confidence. That's what I would say. We've seen it before, lots of players leave Spurs. Look at Foyth, gone away abroad and won the blooming Europa League in his first season, didn't he, last year? So, it happens a lot. So
not to Sissoko, hopefully. So Sissoko ain't going to win nothing, is he? Surely. He ain't going to leave us a win, Saint, surely.
You never know. He might win the FA Cup, League Cup. You never know.
Oh, that'd be a dream come true. That really would.
I don't think Watford will win the Premier League. I think it's fair to say that, but
not this season anyway.
Pidge,
probably fifth, but yeah.
What's your thoughts on Isco Munoz? If I've said that wrong, I apologise.
How's
he working out for you?
Yeah, he's really nice bloke. It was a similar sort of mould of with when Javi Gracia was there as well. Really nice bloke. Sort of knows what the fans are thinking. Tries to engage with us as much as possible. Very accessible on social media as well with a lot of people. And yeah, we needed him after Vidic left as well. He got us defensively sound in the Championship, but we just could not. We were literally mustering up one shot a game. It was getting depressing, and we were dropping like a stone. And Isco came in and has really added that attacking ethos to the team that we did originally have under like Jokanovic when we went up previously, and the likes of shall we say, dare to say it, the likes of Silva before he jumped ship to Everton. We try and play attacking football. A lot of time it doesn't work out, but we do try and attack teams, and we're better when we do try and attack teams. When we just try and sit back and absorb pressure, especially against like the likes of you guys and the other bigger teams as well, then we do get found out. So yeah, I'm definitely happy with Isco, and I really do hope. I know, there's always this big thing about us changing management every 4 games.
That's my next question, don't you?
Yeah.
How long is it going to
last? Look, mate, we get it all the time, and we actually laugh about it. We don't get annoyed with it. You can't with our club. The Pozzos have got a certain model. They hire and fire managers or head coaches, and the ethos and the way it's set up is always there. It's just really changing the man up top. But yeah, for Isco's sake, he's done his coaching badges, required to manage in the Premier League. He's got us to where he, the team that he pretty much in the mould that he wants us to play. So I really do hope he has a bit more time than what a lot of people are thinking. So yeah, definitely. Hopefully for the longer term, we stick with Isco. Yeah, definitely.
And surely sacking Pearson 2 games before the end of last season was a bit of a mistake, no?
It's an absolute joke. When we sacked Javi, you looked at the results prior to the FA Cup final, and it was pretty poor after Huddersfield. And going into that season, then we brought in Flores, which is a complete joke. He should never have come back in hindsight. But yeah, Pearson really got us within a hair's breadth of staying up, and I think a lot of backroom politics and a lot of things, after the West Ham game, apparently there's an altercation with a player, but he's an old school manager. He don't take no crap, and we loved that. He was there to disciplinarian, and yeah, that's the one that really annoyed us. There was a lot of managers that we sort of thought, okay, the time had gone, need to change, but the Pearson one really did, shall I say, piss a lot of fans off.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I would want to be one to sack Nigel Pearson. He's a bit hard, isn't he? He's like a proper hard as nails nutter of a manager. I mean, can you imagine? Surely it'd be like one that's done via email, because if he's in the room, he's going to nut you, isn't he?
Yeah, or WhatsApp him. Send a picture, go, you're fired or something.
We've arranged for all your things to be taken to your home address. Please don't come back to the stadium or we'll have you arrested. That would be the way I'd do it. So confirmed Sissoko to Watford today. I believe the fee's in the region of 10 million quid. How do you feel about that, Pidge, then? I mean, I know you've touched on it already, but what do you think Sissoko's going to bring to your team?
Yeah, Shannon excellently came on TMA and gave us an in-depth of the Peter. I mean, I know what we're expecting, but a lot of our fans that are not 100%, ain't been watching him every game like you guys were, don't know much about him. But yeah, I'm absolutely delighted. Bags of experience, French international, current French international. seasoned Premier League player as well, obviously with Newcastle and yourselves. It can only be an upgrade on what we've got. And we were on our podcast, we always say if we're going to sign a player, and this is probably true for you guys as well, if you're going to sign a player, it's got to be as equal of quality of what you got now, or even better. It has to be. You have to really look at buying players that are even better than what you've got. And Sissoko, certainly, from what we've got in midfield, certainly ticks all the boxes in that respect.
Shout out HG, 100 watching, but only 24 likes. Come on, if there's 100 of you watching, that's 100 likes, isn't it? Surely, come on, let's hit the like button and get those numbers up tonight. And also, I'll go to you, Michael. We've signed a player today, so Pape Sarr from Metz. Apparently, he's my run sheet. Beautifully prepared by Davo, says he's a box-to-box midfielder, tough tackler, only 18. Chelsea, United and Chelsea all chasing him. And I believe we've loaned him straight back to Metz for this season.
I think that's obviously a player going back on loan is a little bit disappointing, but due to his age and, he's in the first team there, let him settle, let him mature a bit more. Hopefully he comes to us in a year a bit more. He can learn the language. He can sort of get his head around the move to Spurs. I've heard and read that he can play anywhere across the midfield. So he's a versatile player. I think it's exciting. Obviously, being a young kid as well, he's obviously going to bring us youth and he's going to bring energy and stuff like that. So I think it's a good signing. I don't know too much about him. I've not seen him play. Just going by what I've read and a bit of research. I think he can obviously add a bit of difference to us in midfield, especially being so versatile. We haven't got to rely heavily on Skip and Højbjerg all the time. It's one for the future, isn't it? Let's be honest. So,
Shan, you should be excited about this one, right? Do you know how much the fee was? I'm not quite sure.
Was it about 15 million euro?
Yeah, 15 million
plus
euro.
add-ons.
Yeah.
I think for that price, for one of the brightest, potential brightest talents, young talents in Europe, I think it was worth it. Although the only thing for me that would be a bit like, I'm not sure, is that he's a young player coming from Ligue 1. And we've had plenty of those before that have not gone too well.
Yeah.
Mainly beginning with N. So, I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. Obviously, I agree with what Michael said. Obviously, it makes sense for us to loan him back, let him get another year of first team experience, because he's not going to come to Spurs and get straight into that first team. He'd probably be playing with the under 23s. We might as well leave him, get more experience with Metz, and then bring him over to us next season, see what he can do. But definitely one for the future. We can definitely see what Paratici's trying to do and building, getting a plethora of young talent in to see, hopefully, big things coming up.
I did see with add-ons and bits and pieces, it could rise to 25 to 30 million euros. So it could cost us a little bit more eventually. But those add-ons will mean he's doing well. So, if he triggers that, then brilliant. That's good for us,
You just know that Daniel Levy's loves an add-on, doesn't he?
Yeah, he loves an add-on, yeah.
He's probably put add-ons in the Sissoko deal. I've just seen in the chat, it's 3 million actually he's gone for, which kind of makes more sense. He's on 120 grand a week at Spurs. So, hopefully you're paying all these wages, Pidge. But
we're paying 70 grand for Andre Gray's that waste of oxygen, so I wouldn't be surprised.
I hope you are paying it, but maybe there's some add-ons with that, appearance bonuses and stuff. Who knows? We love
as long as they're in a buyback for Sissoko, I'm happy. Definitely won't be
Tammy Abraham deal.
I've told them good things about Sissoko. Don't ruin.
There are a lot of good things about Sissoko. He's got a fantastic engine.
It's all coming out now.
His engine.
He's a very frustrating player. He's capable of bossing a midfield, as he has done lots of times for us. But at the same time, he's close ball control. My daughter's she's 2. She's got better close ball control than him, so that will frustrate the hell out of you. But he is a huge battering ram of the player. So
I did warn all the Watford fans sitting behind the goal as well. I did warn them just to let them know that you might get a few stray shots.
That's the only problem. My seat is in the middle of the rookery, the home end, with the crossbar right above my eye line, so I'm looking out ahead of a few balls away from his shot. So
just keep him away, you'll be all right. Bob Spur chipping in there, a £2 super chat. Thanks very much, Bob. Here's to the 20-year rebuild being complete in 2023. I'm sure that's a slide dig. Dave, do you want to take that one? We're buying lots of. I've seen a lot of chat amongst Spurs fans. We're buying lots of players for the future, not a lot of people for right now. How do you feel about that?
Look, obviously we're buying a lot of young players, so we hope that they can blossom into having a great career at the club. And that would be great if we had a strong squad, and we're doing these add-ons now. But to my mind, we need another striker, we need a right back, and we need a creative midfield player. So I know that we're all getting excited about the players that we've bought, etc. But I still think there's more work to be done on the here and now. Yeah.
What do you think's the priority out of them three that you think the ones we need? What do you think's the priority? Just out of interest.
We need a striker. So
yeah.
We need. I mean, look, I wasn't a massive fan of Vinicius, but he was a striker. Still be another Janssen, Llorente, Vinicius. We need someone who knows what to do when the ball's up in the attacking part of the pitch. We don't have that, and I think that's a massive gap. The other point is around the midfield player, where, as I said, when we've got teams that are going to sit back and defend at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, we need someone who can unpick that. Kane might do that role, obviously, from last year, but we do need something in the midfield. And at right back at the moment, we still have Serge Aurier picking up a pay packet at our club. Maybe, Pidge, if you wouldn't mind taking Serge as well, and the two for the price of one deal. That'd be nice.
We're looking for a right back, but...
Well, have I got a deal for you with add-ons?
We're already paying 120,000 for your midfielder, so allegedly.
Serge Aurier is on about 70, 75 grand a week, I believe.
We'll let you have Andre Gray, and then we'll have him miss a deal.
Wow.
About that.
Not really.
Serge scores more, doesn't he? Serge, he scores more, doesn't he?
Oh, bloody hell, my daughter could score more.
Let
scores off your pitch.
Let me ask you, Pidge, from an outside perspective, the Harry Kane fiasco, how's it looked from the outside looking in?
I agreed when I watched a lot of the Simon Jordan stuff, and I don't agree with half the stuff he says, but he was saying it was a disgrace how he conducted himself. At least with Grealish, he actually reported for duty training, just before he left, and carried on training. I thought Kane should have just at least carried on training, and then he'd be fully fit. Obviously, come Sunday, it'll be a blessing in disguise if he didn't play, but obviously we know he will. But that's what he should have done, is just carried on, grinded, kept himself fit, and then if a move did come, then albeit, but from the outside looking in, it was a bit of a shambles from his point of view. Levy's got his right to hold out for a deal, so he's contracted to Spurs. So at the end of the day, he's your player.
Yeah. Well, we have, and we did, and in the end, he's remained, and let's hope he can do some damage on Sunday. Obviously, you don't know that, but
I'm looking forward to that.
Pidge, I don't know if you want to hang around for the whole show, because the whole show's going to go on for about another hour. It's up to you, mate. If you want to,
I'm going to shoot because I've got the boy down with me. But I'll tell you what, thank you ever so much. It's been an absolute pleasure. I watched a couple of shows before I came on, and
check out the Man City one.
I will do. Now you told me, I'm definitely going to look at that.
But before I let you go, let's all do a match prediction. Let's start with you as you're the guest. What's your thoughts?
Well, I always say, they always think, because they always say a Pidge predictor. Always people go 2-1. I said my heart says 2-1 for us, but my mate as well was on the podcast, and as Shannon said as well, 3-0. I think it's probably going to be edging towards that for you guys, if it all goes to form, shall we say? Okay, mate. Shan, let's go to you.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 3-0 Spurs.
Okay. Dave?
3-0 Tottenham.
This is very uniform. Michael?
Yeah, I'll be
different.
Yeah, I'm going 2-0. I'm going clean sheet again. Another clean sheet, but I'm going 2-0.
That's a bit more positive for us.
Because it's been quite tight. The last 4 or 5 games with Watford have actually been quite tight. There's been a couple of draws in there, a couple of 2-1 wins for 1-2-1 win for each team. So it's been quite tight. We haven't actually gone out and thrashed Watford for a while. So for me, I'm just 2-0 clean sheet.
That means we're due one, Michael, surely.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Or us.
We'll see.
I'm going to say 3-1. I think
No clean sheet.
No clean sheet. I think that's going. And there you go. Look, HG is now shouting in text. HG Pidge is one of our regulars. The overconfidence is disturbing. I mean, you sound like Darth Vader.
I passed the test apparently for not being an Andy. So cheers, mate. Nice one.
Have you learned nothing at all? Have you learned nothing at all? And yeah, Pidge passes the test of not being an Andy. So it's weird, isn't it? The only fans we've had on that were really disturbing were Man City fans. Pidge, look, absolute massive thanks for coming on. You've been an absolute pleasure to work with. Good luck with your channel. I don't know if you want to tell everyone about your channel before you go.
Yeah, and also we'll get one of you guys on. I'll message you guys and get one of you guys on Sunday night. We do our pods every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. TMA TV on YouTube. So share much love. We've just reached 200. Hey, good time. So if you guys, anyone can get on. It's live broadcasts on our TaylorMade Army forum on Facebook. So that's mainly where we reside from. So yeah, thank you ever so much. Cheers.
Pleasure to have you on, mate. Pleasure to have you on.
Thank you. Take care, guys.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah.
What a pleasant guest that was. You see, they don't all have to be like Andy, do they?
Maybe it's fans who support clubs beginning with the letter W are the nice ones. But then we'll have to deal with West Ham at some point, won't we?
We're going to have to be very selective with that one, Call.
I'm not sure what Watford think of Spurs, to be honest. I'm not sure what they actually think of Spurs in terms of do they dislike us? Are they okay with us? Even when we play them, when we're down there, they don't give us that much stick, you know.
From being on their channel, Michael, I don't think they dislike us. I think they've got a lot of respect for Spurs. So yeah, I think it'll be all right. I don't think it'll be too feisty on Sunday.
Palace, they hate, don't they? They hate Palace.
They hate Palace, yeah.
With a passion. Luton, yeah,
massively.
I don't quite.
And Wolves, they don't like Wolves either.
Yeah, I think that's because of the argy-bargy from the FA Cup semi-final. So HG, by the way, is saying 1-1 early season Spurs draws are the norm. So I'm fucking glad he's not on the show tonight. I
just think we're going to be a tough team to beat at home. I've just got this feeling Spurs will have a good home run this year.
Yeah,
I've just got this feeling. Yeah, just from the early start. I know it's early days, but I just think with the crowd that we're going to get in there now, especially after COVID and stuff like that, I think the place will be rocking every league game. I think the players are feeling it.
If the crowd react as they did against Man City for every home game, we won't get beat at home because it was absolutely amazing. However, if they resort to type and go quiet for like 70 out of the 90 minutes, then it'll be a different story because the Spurs crowd are very fickle and very, we've really got to get behind the team. And part of my frustration since I've been supporting Spurs, and this goes back, people sort of hark back to the old stadium. It was exactly the same then. The crowd were very quiet for large periods of the game. Everyone's looking at it with rose-tinted spectacles. And it was a great place and it rocked when we were doing well. But when we weren't doing well, honestly, it wasn't that pleasant a place to be. It could be like a very quiet stadium sometimes. So I just hope the COVID has made everyone appreciate being back in football so much that they just sing their heart out every home game. Because I think the crowd were an absolute 12th man in that Manchester City.
I think the flags helped and all. The old 3 flags, I think they helped. Do that every game. Daniel Levy.
Why not?
Daniel Levy, get the money. Get the money out.
Well, they went to Leicester. They give you a clapper, don't they?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
it's like the home fans at Leicester. Just silly little things like that probably cost too much money for Daniel to even consider.
Or just bring your own back. Just reuse it.
Maybe a tifo every now and again. HG absolutely loves those. He thinks the Tottenham tifo was completely shit. But there you go. I used it as a wallpaper for 6 months on the show just to upset him. So let's just talk very briefly about the Pacos de Ferrer, because we did do a pod and we did do a video on it last night. Dave, Michael, haven't had your views on you, so I'm going to go to you. Comfortable victory, never looked in doubt, Dave?
Yeah, I only saw brief highlights of it. I didn't pay the subscription to watch the game over in Australia.
Nor did I.
But I thought that you'd be delighted to know, Caller, that that the turn and tackle and the part that Winks played in that first goal. Surely it means that he stays in the club now. We've had the regeneration of one Harry this week. We've got another regeneration of another Harry this week. It's all good news, Caller, don't you think?
Michael, over to you.
Well, Harry Winks.
No, the game.
Oh, in general.
I
I was at the game yesterday. Actually, I was in the south stand. So I was just job done for me. Professional. Not too many. Galini put us in a bit of a fright at the very first couple of minutes, but apart from that, solid job done. Like I said, Brian Gill was impressive. Obviously, Harry Kane got a brace. Good to see. The fans are right behind him. I've seen a few comments on Twitter and stuff saying there's a few fans that wasn't. From what in the south stand, everyone was behind him, going crazy when he scored. It was really loud for that. I think it was only 25, 30,000 there yesterday. But when Kane knocked them goals in, they were going crazy. So even when he came off, the place was rocking. When he came off for Sonny. Yeah. So yeah, job done for me. It was we should have had more. We could have had 5 or 6 to be honest. In the end, Bergwijn hit the post and stuff like that. But yeah, job done. We're in the draw. We've got in the group stage. Happy days for me.
Are you at the game on Sunday, Michael?
Yeah. Looking forward to that. Yeah, like I said, if the place is rocking, there's no reason why we can't go and beat Watford on Sunday.
I've got to be honest. I think it's going to be like the loudest. He's one of our own on Sunday that the stadium's ever heard.
Harry Winks.
Can't wait.
I think it was a good touch that he captained the side yesterday as well, Harry Kane. It was a nice touch. Nice. Yeah,
shows the confidence. Shows the confidence.
Yeah, shows he's on board, and Nuno's on board with him. So yeah, it was good. Good night all round, really. Good night.
I heard you, Dave.
What was he saying?
The shouts of he's one of our own. It's going to be for Harry Winks. Is that what we're talking about?
Look, I know you want me to acknowledge Harry Winks's tackle and turn and pass, but if you want to do that, you need to just refer to last night's video where I did acknowledge it. We've moved on. I also said that Europa Conference is his level. Yeah. And that ultimately is the only place I want to see him play this season. That and the Carling Cup. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Is that enough for you?
If he if in the Carling Cup final, if he does an Alan Nielsen against Leicester in '99, if he scores the winner, what will your reaction be?
Can I just say firstly, there's only 50 likes and 136 people watching, so that's poor form. Come on, guys, get us up to 100 likes at least. Hey, Winks, what was your question again?
If he scores the winner in the League Cup final, will you be on your feet?
I'm joking. Of course, I'll be on my feet. I'm a Spurs fan. I support Harry Kane. Harry Winks. I want him to be the best player possible for Spurs. Unfortunately, he ain't ever going to be the player I want him to be because he's pretty shit. That's the reality of life. Unfortunately, you can't always get what you want. Harry Winks, I know he's dying for my adulation, but it's just not going to happen, I'm afraid.
No, I just like winding you up. That's all.
Well, it was job done against Pacos de Ferrer, and we have had the draw today for the group stages of the elite competition that is the Europa Conference League, and we have drawn Rennes in France. Probably saying all these wrong. HG's not here to correct me, so gonna crack on. Vitesse Arnhem, which is Dutch.
Isn't it Vitesse?
Yes, Vitesse.
Vitesse.
So HG's not here and I still get credited. And Mura. Don't tell me that's wrong because it sounds a bit like Shira, and that's in Slovenia. So we've got 3 nice away trips: France, Holland, and Slovenia. So what do you think of that, Shan? Happy with that?
Yeah, I'm happy with that. I think low air miles, which is always good. I think there was that team that weren't even on the map that we were all dreading that we were going to get. But yeah, no, I think good in the sense that there's not too much travel involved. But I think we need to respect these teams. It's not going to be an easy ride for us. We need to make sure that we've got a balanced team with a mixture of strength, like senior players and youth. I think we do need to use our youth, get the kids playing a little bit, but I do think we need to make sure we're getting the job done in these games.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Dave, anything excite you about the draw?
Yeah, no, low carbon footprint, all good. We don't have to travel too far, even better. I'd send the kids out on the away legs and play more of the first teamers in the home games, which is what we did in the qualifier. The fact of the matter is that we should have got to the final of the Europa last year. If you look at the Goons got to the semi-final, for God's sake. So I'm still getting over Zagreb. So we need those fringe players, like your favourite, to deliver when it really counts on this. Definitely, we can progress in this. But am I that bothered about it? To be honest, not really.
Can I just ask you, Michael? Europa Conference final, Roma versus Spurs. Is that written in the stars, do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I've said it since the start. Yeah, since we got in it and found out Roma was in it as well. It's just nailed on for Spurs to face Mourinho in the final. Innit? Let's be honest. It's just nailed on. And if Mourinho beats us, that's just Tottenham all over, innit? Really.
It really is. It really
is. It's just it's written in the stars for me, definitely.
He's got a fantastic record against us as well. Unfortunately, has Mr. Mourinho. So I don't know. I'm not looking forward to that. A few bits. Let's move away from the Europa Conference football and talk about a few bits. Kane's U-turn. So all forgiven then, is it, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't that upset. I mean, I'm not that upset in the first place. I mean, the reality is, the situation is, his view is we don't match his ambition to win trophies at his period of his career. He's the best striker we've had at the club since Jimmy Greaves. The owners haven't invested in the squad that they should have done to take us to the final step. I'm really delighted in a perverse sense that the likes of Sky Sports, and we haven't got anyone on there from tonight, BBC, the Daily Telegraph especially, they've all been running a campaign for donkey's years that Tottenham as a club shouldn't have the likes of Harry Kane playing for them. It disturbs the Cities, Uniteds, your Liverpools, your Chelseas. It disturbs that narrative that we should have a striker like him. And they've always talked about, when will Kane leave? I even remember when we beat Dortmund in the Champions League, I was over in the UK, and they were discussing it after the game. So I'm delighted from that point of view that he's staying. I even think it's even funnier about Ronaldo doing a U-turn himself and going off to United and not City, which I think is hilarious. Yes. And I'm delighted that there's that certain level of arrogance about City in thinking that they could, they bid 75 million plus add-ons or plus players who never wanted to join us. What a crap deal. That's not even an add-on that Daniel Levy would want. So from that point of view, I'm delighted. I did argue earlier in the summer that we should have thought about selling him earlier in the summer and using it to fund the rebuild. And my final and cynical point is, we've done a few deals this summer where it's an initial loan payment and pay the rest next year. Is that the Kane money that we're going to get in next year? Is that how we're financing it? That might be the case.
Well, I'm going to take a few little quarter things along the way, watcher things along the way. Bloody Pep was so snidey today. How salty was he? What do you think of that, Shannon? You're our Manchester City expert.
Oh, man. Pep Diggiola, as I call him. Honestly, he can't help himself, can he? The guy is just an absolute dickhead. Oh, he literally infuriates me. I just don't understand what his issue with Spurs is. I mean, he just needs to give up because it don't do very well for him, because he's like, Harry Kane team, and he's lost to us 5 times. 1 Kane came off early, and 4 Kane didn't play at all. He needs to stop with talking about Spurs because he's giving himself hoodoo. He just needs to piss off. In the words of Bob, piss off, Pep.
Wow, absolutely. I mean, that's a strong rebuke. Michael, do you feel similar to that?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to come back in for him now, to be honest. I think that's it for City and Kane. I do. I think it's over now for him, that move to City. I can't see him doing it, especially with the stuff he said today, like Shan said, about Daniel Levy being the chief negotiator and he knows everything, and the comments he made. I think that move's definitely it's off the table now for next summer. But in general, the Kane thing, I wasn't pleased the way Kane or his camp went around it at the start. I think Tottenham done brilliant in terms of dealing with that throughout the whole summer. Really, you've got to take your hats off to them. And we have got the best number 9 in the world still playing for our club. So for me, if he knocks the goals in and keeps doing what he does, I'm a happy man, happy Spurs fan. Yeah,
absolutely. Reports of the press today are saying that he turned down 400. Well, he turned down, prior to the City stuff being resolved, a £400,000 a week new paid deal. Shan, do you think that was wise, knowing that he's now got to stay at the club for another 3 years?
Caller, do you really think Daniel Levy would ever offer someone 400k a week in wages?
I actually do think he would offer Harry Kane it. Yeah, I do.
With add-ons,
Really?
with add-ons, yeah,
With
incentives,
add-ons, yeah.
incentives and all that stuff. Yeah, they reckon he's on a few quid now. They reckon he's on a lot more than what people think now, with all the add-ons and bits and pieces. So
yeah, I was watching Last Word on Spurs. They had Fabrizio Romano on earlier, and he said that Kane hasn't turned down any contract. So, what source was that from, Caller?
Yeah, I did see the same. I did see that today as well.
It was all over
2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, he turned it down.
It was all over the news, and basically, he wouldn't sign the extension because he was agitating for a move to City. Now he wants to agitate for a contract, and Spurs are saying there's no contract right now on the table, but it's expected that they'll find some common ground later in the season, and he will sign a new and improved deal. I'd expect to see that, to be honest. Would you not?
Yeah, it echoes what Fabrizio Romano said earlier on. He said that Kane hasn't rejected a deal as such, but it's not something that needs to be talked about right now. It's something that will go on. Obviously, the priority for Spurs is getting players out and getting players in. Kane still has 3 years left on his contract. There's still plenty of time to talk about a new deal. But I've always said it, Caller. I think if he didn't go this season, he'll sign a new contract and see out his career with Spurs. He's not going to go to United next season because they've got Ronaldo on a 2-year contract. Yeah. So he's not going to go to
Cavani's only there till the end of this season, though, isn't he?
Yeah, but
he's got to give up his shirt number and all, apparently. It's Cavani. Bit of an argument. Yeah, both number 7s.
Yeah, I just think I don't see it happening now. I think next year will be 29. He'll still have 2 years left on his contract, so Daniel Levy could easily play hardball then as well and say, no, you've got to wait another season, and then by then he's 30 and he's potentially, you've got Haaland and Mbappe, there could be another sort of wonder kid come through that could be the next best thing that everyone will be after. So I think I've always said it. I think he'll probably stay at Spurs now. He'll sign a new contract and hopefully we'll win something. I think it'll mean so much more to Harry Kane to win just to win a trophy with Spurs than it would to win multiple trophies anywhere else. I still believe that. He's a fan like all of us. He's just fed up with the lack of Levy. Well, the lack of ambition shown by Levy. Look, we're all pissed off with Levy. Like, let's not beat around the bushes. We've all been pretty pissed off at some point. And Harry Kane is right to feel the same. I just don't agree with how he went about that. That's all. But I think he loves Spurs. He does love Spurs.
Yeah, I think so. Dave, is this the last time we'll have Charlie and Kane in the same sentence?
I just Charlie Kane. I love Charlie Kane. He's brilliant. He should have his own show. In fact, I'd stick him on Arsenal Fan TV as a mashup of comedy. Is mashup a word the kids use, Shan? I don't know. I'm just checking with you. But look, I think that there'll be a new deal for Kane, and they'll have a proper lawyer and a proper advisor, and he'll have a release clause in it. Yeah. He might do a Robin van Persie who left the Goons to United, I think, aged 29, so he could get his trophies, but unfortunately found out that was Fergie's last year, so I think that didn't quite work out for him. So I still think he might sign a new deal. There'll be a release clause in it. But he's now 40 goals away from Greasy's record? Is that right? He's not
48. Is it?
Yeah, he's probably got a season and a bit to go for that. And then how far off is he from Shearer's Premier League record?
Still quite a way. I think he's got his 3-year contract would probably be there or thereabouts, I think, if I remember rightly. But I can't remember the exact stat. I'm sure someone will throw it in the comments.
Because let's not forget, Kane did a judicial legal appeal to the highest court in the land when he claimed that goal off his arse against Stoke from Eriksen's free kick. So these things are very important to Harold. So I think he'll sign an extension. There'll be a release clause, and that's what we'll do.
And we won't hear from Charlie Kane ever again, right?
I just love that motorbike in his office. And then has he not got on his office floor like tyre marks on there to show that the motor? I think it's brilliant. He should go into interior design. That's what Charlie should do next.
The Charlie Kane show. Michael, massive up yours to Mr. Neville, isn't it? I mean, Neville was agitating for him to sign for United this week.
Yeah.
I mean, he must feel really salty. I did tweet him say no more rounds of golf, please, with Mr. Kane. But
definitely, yeah.
He must feel a bit upset, mustn't he?
Yeah, he's been trying to sell him for about 3 years, I think. I think everyone's been trying to sell. I think Kane's been sold 4 times already this summer. But the golf course thing was badly timed, wasn't it? Whoever give that the green light, it was terrible timing. The questions were so forced and so directed to Kane, basically saying, I want to leave, I want to play with X team, X players. It's nice to give Gary Neville a little bit of a taste of his own medicine there, and Kane doing a U-turn. Yeah, brilliant.
Bit of have some of that, Gary.
Can I just add about Gary Neville? Actually, he's interesting, isn't he? Because he was at the forefront about the old European Super League because it didn't fit in with his paymasters at Sky, and he talks about the distorting of competition of having this European Super League where you can't really get promoted or relegated. Yet he wants to distort the competition in the Premier League by selling our best player to the richer clubs. So, as I said before, I'm really delighted that Gary Neville's campaign's failed.
Well, I mean, he distorts. Doesn't he own that team in the lower leagues as well that's flooded with cash and creating an unfair competition? I mean, there's a bit of a paradox there, is there not?
Is that distorting the competition as well? I think so. You're right.
Yeah. Well, half an am actually, Dave, but you don't really stop.
I'm not saying you're distorting the competition. I'm saying Gary Neville is.
No. The bit where you said I'm right, I said half an am, but you don't often stop to listen.
Oh, I'm being told off now. Hey, I didn't write that in the run sheet, did I?
As you already know, I don't often stick to the run sheet. I mean, anyone who's recorded a pod with me in the last few years on the Cheese Room will know that. Caller likes a bit of it. I can't remember. I can't believe I'm referring to myself in the third person. Anyway, let's talk about something else. Dave, I'm going to stick with you.
Yeah.
Has Levy won your heart, and does he deserve some credit for this?
That's not on the run sheet.
No, that is on the run sheet. So yeah. Look, Daniel Levy, he's done the art of doing nothing all summer about Kane. So take my hat off to him on that one. He's just not movable. When it's stuff like that, he's got his price. You haven't reached the price. That's the end of the story. But as I said, we haven't invested. I still think we haven't invested properly in the window. Now we might sort that out with 5 days to go. And as I said, we need a striker, we need a midfield player, and a right back. And as we know, the business model is we don't invest in the squad. It's all self-sufficient. So has he won my heart? Has he won my heart? My heart is hardened towards Daniel Levy, but it's open to so many other people. There's your answer.
I think with Daniel Levy, though, he's got a full guy now for the footballing side of things, isn't he? He's got a full guy in Paratici now. So anything that, transfer-wise, it's going to fall on Paratici, isn't it? He's going to get the blame, or he's going to be a hero come the end of the window. So it's very clever at structures, isn't it? It's very cleverly set up. So
you're absolutely right. There's 180 people watching. What's the like count? Anyone? Come on, let's get those likes up. I'm sure it's shit because it always is. Hit the like button, smash the like button. Do please subscribe and share, and we will reach dizzy heights together, people. We will reach dizzy heights together. Talking of dizzy heights, Shannon, is Harry now the man for you? Do you love him?
Come on, guys! You know my heart's with Højbjerg. Like, I can't be doing two at the same time. Like, Højbjerg's the man for me.
I was talking about this yesterday. Gentlemen, can either of you please tell me what makes Højbjerg like kryptonite to women? Because I personally, I don't get it. He looks like the kind of bloke who'd come round and lay a drive.
It's the accent, isn't it? It's got to be the accent and the tattoos.
No, his tattoos are shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't looked. I just know he's smothered in them, but yeah.
I think on this subject, I think Gazzaniga, I always thought he was a good-looking bloke, right? And I thought the lady.
I got that.
I got that. It's just a shame he was a crap goalkeeper, which is what we employ him for. As I said, I always had, as I said, as a heterosexual old man, I did have a bit of man love for Toby. Højbjerg,
never really got that, to be honest, either.
Well, and Højbjerg, I can see why Shan, likes him.
And what is it, Shan? What is it? What is it you like about him? So what is it that makes him different?
He's just. Do you know what? 1 second. I'm going to get my shrine that I set up so nice.
I thought you were just like making sure your boyfriend's not around.
I thought he was going to bring him on, Højbjerg. Yeah.
He just
come here, Pidge.
Got a life-size Højbjerg sex doll like in the next room or something?
Let's
What's
have a look.
going on?
What's going on?
It's my lovely Højbjerg shrine. I did this specially for Dave, right?
Lovely.
Couple of weeks ago, and it's the Højbjerg himself squaring up to Mikel Arteta. What is not love? Like, look how big he is. The guy is just a man unit.
He's Arteta's 4 foot. That's why.
Yeah, he's about the same height as me, and I've got. I mean, it's fair to say that ground does slope away quite a lot there.
Yeah.
So
No, but right, look. Højbjerg he's a big guy.
He's a Viking, isn't he?
He's a
He's a
dominating
Viking.
presence. He like you say, he looks like he's going to come and.
presence.
Well, hang on. We're going somewhere where we don't need to go.
We're going somewhere very dark right now.
We
He
are.
does look like he's going to come and lay your drive, but aren't those types much more attractive than like your pretty boy types that don't want to get their hands dirty?
Well, I wouldn't know.
No, I wouldn't know. No.
Oh, no.
But you guys asked for my opinion, and that Højbjerg is the one. I'm sorry to disappoint, but obviously,
Who
Is
your
he on the back of
previous
your
one?
shirt as well?
Yes. Wow.
Who's got
I've
better tattoos, Højbjerg or Deli? Oh, that's
Yeah,
a
I saw
hard
that.
question.
I've seen that.
Deli's
He's
Deli's a caller because he's got some good ones, but like Højbjerg's are just a bit shit. But Deli's are quite cool. They're still shit, but they're at least a little bit cool.
Cool shit. Yeah.
You know, he got
Yeah.
married in the summer. Højbjerg.
He did get married. Yeah.
He was already
Yeah.
married before that, Dave, but that means nothing, right? I'm getting married.
Still means nothing.
Mike.
Just a piece of paper, I know.
We're really
Yeah.
going down a cul-de-sac. We just don't need to go down.
Anyway, back to Harry Kane.
Yeah.
Sam's very disappointed, by the way.
Oh. I'm sorry, Sam. I obviously said that knowing that Ronaldo was never ever going to sign for Spurs. So obviously I'm a bit relieved that it never happened because Tottenham High Road is not ready for that. I'm sorry. But yeah, back to Kane. Obviously, I said on Mari's Love Lounge the other day, like he was sort of after his tweet.
Oh,
Sorry, what?
Anyway, after his tweet, I said, it's like when you're on a break with your other half, right? And then you sort of make up, but they're not quite back in your good books. So they're on the sofa, they're not quite in the bedroom. Harry Kane was on the sofa for me before yesterday. He's sort of edging his way halfway up the stairs right now. And if he scores a couple tomorrow, he might well make it back up to the bedroom. That's my analogy on it.
With
What
Højbjerg.
about if he makes you a nice dinner? What about if Harry Kane? He makes you a lovely breakfast.
Well, the
On
nice
Monday
breakfast,
morning.
the breakfast would be a couple of goals against Watford, wouldn't it? Surely.
That's all he needs to do, really, innit? Let's be honest. He just needs to score goals.
He just
I mean,
needs
if
to
he,
score.
yeah.
Like
He
last
needs to
night.
score a
Last
few
night kicked
more.
it off.
He needs to kiss the badge, clap the fans some more. He's still got a little bit of like making up to do, but he's making his way back into our hearts slowly but surely. That's all I'm going to say on the matter.
I mean, I did share a video earlier on Twitter with Kane when he came off. He literally went up to every part of the squad and literally shook hands with everyone when he came off. Everyone went over to him, high-fived. You know, he went literally along the whole squad. And I thought that was good to see. He could have just said, like, you know, said to Nuno, like, nice one, and sat down, you know. But he didn't. He went along the whole squad, the bench, everything, you know. So scoring goals, it's just the start of him coming back to us, I think.
So he's hired a decent PR firm, he says cynically. So, well done, Harry.
Oh, Dave, come on.
I've got a shout out to my mate Beachy, who takes me to the football quite often. He drives and I drink, and he drives me back, which is a lovely arrangement. So shout out to him, and bless him. He's more technologically backward than you, Davo. He's just texting me asking how he comments. I said you need to subscribe, but so do the rest of you. So if you haven't hit the subscribe button already, please do hit the like
Nice plug.
and subscribe button. Do you like that? Look at that.
Good
Straight
plug,
in
that.
there.
Sorry to interrupt. You have to excuse me 1 minute. I've just got to take the lamb out the fridge. Be back in a second. Sorry.
That's the most random thing. This is why I love this show with you, Dave. You bring the
Take the lamb out.
Take the lamb out. I mean, I've heard of that's just an excuse. He's gone for a piss. If Kane stays for his whole career and wins either, oh no, there is the
There it is.
shoulder, cheek cut. But
Don't be a snob, caller.
His whole career wins either the Premier League or the Champions League with us. Should he get a statue outside the stadium? I'm going to say yes on this.
100%.
I actually think, like, if he breaks Greaves' record, surely he's got to have a statue outside the stadium. Can we just make it a little bit better than that Ronaldo statue? Because that was god awful, wasn't it? If you remember seeing that. What are you saying, Shan?
Oh, 100%. And it's not just like. Yeah, if he breaks Jimmy Greaves' record, then I think he should get something. If he wins, I mean,
he should get
if he
something
wins
like
the
a
Premier League
W8
or the
Swift voucher or something.
Loves a shot.
50 quid Amazon voucher. No, if he won the Premier League or the Champions League with us, the statue is the very least he deserves.
We'll rename the stadium the Harry Kane Stadium, the Harry Kane Arena.
I think he'd get a stand.
Yeah.
And I think if Nuno's still in, if Nuno's still in, all right, caller. If Nuno is still with us and we win the Premier League or a Champions League, then I think he equally deserves a statue because it will be due to Nuno's genius. We're not the Harry Kane team, remember? Nuno's our head coach. He pulls the strings. So if we win, Nuno is at the wheel, very much so. And if we win something, then he equally deserves a statue as much as Harry Kane and Sonny and Højbjerg and Lloris, if he's still here when that happens, because it's probably not going to happen this season. Let's be real. We'd all love that too, but
I think Sonny's well on his way for a statue, don't you? I think he's on his way.
I think TJ Davis 91 makes a really good comment.
Why hasn't Bill Nick got a statue yet? Yeah, I was coming to that.
Yeah.
He's got a bust, hasn't he? He's got a bust. He's got like a bust, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he needs a statue outside the stadium, surely, doesn't he?
Yeah.
There's got to be a few more statues. If this was communist Russia, we'd have them everywhere.
Well, what statues, in all seriousness, what statues would you have? I mean, Bill Nick, obviously.
Bill Nick.
Jimmy Greaves.
Keith Birkinshaw, our second most successful manager.
Arguably.
Yeah, and obviously Glenn Hoddle.
I'm not sure you'd have Glenn Hoddle.
Why?
Well, because he didn't break any records for us, did he?
Okay.
All the other people you've spoken about were really
milestones,
milestones, but Glenn Hoddle was a great player.
Sorry, I've just seen Phil Ambrose comment.
What, the Ginger Pele?
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Imagine that as a statue.
Look, Glenn Hoddle was one of the greatest players that we've ever seen. John Lacey. Glenn Hoddle was one of the greatest players we've ever seen. I think your memory might be a bit besmirched by him as his time as the manager, where he wasn't a great success. But he was homegrown, great manager, great player. Lit up the team. But there's other good shouts coming in as well. Gary Mabbott is another one.
Yeah.
So but I think Levy, in all seriousness, should start thinking about doing these kind of things. If he wants to get back to the DNA of the club, then that's what he should be looking at. So I do remember there was a Bill Nick Gates or something like that outside, or Bill Nick Way or something like that outside the old stadium. If he wants to reconnect, he needs to start doing that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, I think honestly there will be some stuff. I think the whole complex isn't finished yet, Dave. So give it a bit of time. I'm sure
the Harry Winks Hotel's yet to be built yet.
Oh, honestly, the only thing Harry Winks named after him is the toilet. That's literally Trap 2, sponsored by Harry Winks. That is literally all I want to hear about that. It's that great time of the show where we do transfer rumours, which means you get to listen to me pronounce names completely wrong. So we're going to kick off straight in there, and you can all give me your opinions on these. Hossein Aouar from Lyon. Talk to me about that one, Shan. You a fan?
I just see him being another Ndombele. Bad attitude, but a lot of talent.
He's got loads of talent. I know that much.
I've just got the fear if we sign him that he'll turn into another Ndombele. And if Ndombele is still with us, it will be like Tweedledum and Tweedledee together with a bad attitude. Loads and loads and loads of talent, but not got the attitude to live up to it. I just think.
I think Ndombele could go the other way in that deal if it happened.
Yeah, I don't see that one happening. I think the rumours on that have quietened down a little bit, haven't they? Yeah, obviously he is exactly what we need, and if he had the right attitude, if he had Harry Winks' attitude with his talent, then we could have a player. Because we can't fault Harry Winks' attitude. He's just shit. But if we
Hang on, he's not completely useless. If you want a cup of tea, if no one else can help you, and if you are feeling lucky, just call Harry Winks and he'll volley it into the cup for you.
I'm
Documentary.
I'm glad you've given us one good thing about Harry Winks, caller. Thank you. But yeah, I just think he's another Ndombele waiting to happen. And we don't need another one of them. I think we need players that want to play for Spurs.
Luxury players.
I actually quite like the look of him. Actually,
yeah, I do.
I looked at little YouTube clips. He's got his record's about 1 goal in every 6. He's got skill. He can pass the ball. Look, if he's got a bad attitude, I mean, it's pretty clear how Nuno's operating at the moment. He's pretty much made it clear to Ndombele, this is how we do things. He hasn't buckled down, and he's on his way out. And I like that. I like that about Nuno. That's great. And it would be with him. If you want to come and join us, these are my expectations, and it's a fresh start for him. So out the ones that we've been linked with in that midfield spot, he's the one I'm most excited about. I don't think we'll get him though.
I think he improves the squad definitely if he comes in. Yeah, definitely improves what we've got, and that's what we need to do at the minute. We need to bring players in that are going to improve the squad. Yes. It's nice to get the youngsters in. Don't get me wrong, but to bring players in of that quality, that's,
but he's got to have the right attitude to play to improve the squad, and that's what I'm worried about. I think if he had a good attitude, 100%, we should be going after him. But I think that might be why Paratici and Levy are a bit hesitant to sign him, because it could be another situation like on Ndombele, and we don't need to be paying another 25-30 million for a player that isn't going to play because he's got a shit attitude, and that's what worries me with him, I think.
Yeah, you would hope with all the scouting that goes on, you would know that they would know that sort of thing. They look into the player's profile, they look at their home life, they look at everything nowadays. You'd hope. I know Ndombele might be different, we slip through the net, but hopefully we learn from Ndombele and we scout correctly this time.
But that's why I think the rumours might have quietened down, Michael. I think they've looked into it and thought, attitude ain't quite right. Yeah, bit of a bad egg. He's not going to be good for Nuno's building quite a, what's the word in the military?
Collective?
Not collective. It's like a...
Infantry.
Tank.
Artillery.
Fusiliers.
Minutemen.
Cavalry?
Yeah, that's it. Cavalry.
Cavalry? What year is this? 1800s?
Is it Dad's army?
Don't tell him, Pike.
Just squad's fine.
But we had a squad last season and they hated each other. We're building up a good.
I'm going to pour another gin. You two carry on talking. I'll be back in a minute.
We're building a good vibe at Tottenham, at a Hotspur way. We want a good vibe. We want the players to like each other and go out. Like with Pochettino, we used to see it on Instagram all the time. The first team would all go out for meals together, and then under Jose, something went horribly wrong. And you could tell there was a divide. You've got Welsh mafia, you've got French mafia, and then everyone in between. And it was a bit like.
I know what you mean. A bit of a wish-wash, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
The word you're looking for, thanks Sam Fisher, is camaraderie.
That's it, camaraderie.
Yeah. You can see Nuno's doing that. You can see Nuno starting to build or trying to build that. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So why would you bring a player in that's not going to be part of that, or has a bad attitude, so he's not going to want to be every single training picture we see of Ndombele, he's smiling, but there's got to be a reason that Nuno isn't picking him still, because he's not. He doesn't look like he's been eating loads of roast dinners during before pre-season.
He actually looks pretty good, to be fair.
Yeah, he looks in good shape. So it's got to be an attitude problem. And it's just going to be another one of those, I think. We've got to be careful. I think I know when Ndombele and Aouar are quite close friends as well. So you could think, and Ndombele got in with the wrong crowd with Musa and Aurier. And I think that was where a lot of the toxicity last season was coming from. So if you're going to add Aouar to that, I just don't think it would work. And I think that's why the rumours might have quietened down a little bit. You just don't suit what Nuno wants to do.
I know Arsenal have been linked with him for, at least 2 or 3 seasons, haven't they? 2 seasons, and they've not actually ever made a bid either. So there could be some substance to that. Yeah, there could be something that backs you up there. Because again, they've not made a bid, and nor have we. So who knows? But from what I've seen of him, putting his attitude to one side, he would definitely improve what we've got in the squad at the moment and the way we play.
Yeah, definitely. If Nuno were to pick him.
Yeah.
And then the next one we've been linked with is Wilson McKennie from Juventus.
Weston McKennie.
Is it Weston?
Yeah.
Sorry, Weston McKennie. And his brother Wilson.
You've took me back to Friday night dinner. Wilson.
That's a great show. So Weston and his brother Wilson McKennie, thoughts on that?
Again, I think it's another one that would improve our squad. I think we were quite heavily linked with him. But looking at it, I think Juve have said that Spurs want to do it as a loan initially with an option to buy, whereas Juve only really want to sell him, and I think it's 35 million euro. So at the minute, he's not meeting what us as a club want to do, because obviously we've had an empty stadium, we've still got debt, we've not got too much money to spend without selling players to fund that. So yeah, I think the best thing we could do is do a loan with an option to buy next season if he does well, which would be funded by the full stadium this season and not the Harry Kane money. I'm being positive. I'm being positive with this. But yeah, I think that one's a bit dead in the water now.
Who are we talking, Shan?
Weston McKennie, not Wilson McKennie, as Dave called him.
Did Dave? I'm glad I'm not the only one who gets players horrifically wrong. I don't really want him anyway. He's just a hard worker, is he? He's not one of Juve's stars, is he? He's just a squad player.
Well, Paratici likes him, don't he? He signed him a season ago. He signed him last season and then was looking at the possibility. If he'd have pulled this off, by the way, he'd have been God. A swap deal for Musa Sissoko. But obviously now he's gone to Watford and we've got, I think...
All our leverage is gone.
Anywhere between 3 million and 10 million. I've seen different figures labelled about here, there and everywhere. But yeah, I think Weston McKennie potentially could be next season when we've got a bit more money to spend.
Yeah, I think he breaks up play, doesn't he? He has got a bit of a pass on him, though. He has got a good range of passing on him. He works hard, like you said, and he breaks up a lot of play. So again, it's a player that we could do with, especially in the Premier League, the way it is at the minute, the pace of it and stuff. We need people to break play up,
We need a couple more players, I think. We need more options. I mean, skipping Højbjerg is fine, but it's a bit unimaginative, like we were talking about yesterday. There's got to be some more options in there. Lo Celso is okay, but he's been hot and cold. Obviously, Ndombele would be ideal to break a press, but he's out of favour and not looking like he's ever going to come back. So,
what are you thinking about Dele being this box-to-box? What do you think?
It's not his natural game, and I think I don't want to judge it too early on 2 games. He's played really well. I was really pleased actually with the Wolves game. The penalty he won spoke more to me than anything he's done in the other 2 games, because I think he really broke lines and got in those positions,
Yeah, like the old days,
like the old days of getting into the box and getting on the end of stuff. And I just thought to myself, that's we've got our old Dele back a bit there. And the problem is playing that midfield role. It's not
sort of shackling him a little bit.
Yeah, but I think with Dele's a confidence player, isn't he? And I think once he builds a bit of confidence, I think we'll see, similar to Bergwijn, once he gets that goal, he'll be flying. But Dele very much is a confidence player, and we could tell that by how he literally dropped like a stone under Mourinho, because Mourinho came in and the first thing he said was, "You're fucking lazy in training."
I've got Bergwijn sorted. He just needs to shave off that ridiculous porn star tash. Like, you watch his career, whenever he hasn't had that stupid little tash, he scores.
Also, with Lo Celso as well.
You can't rock the moustache at 23.
With Lo Celso's another one. I think he needs a run of games to sort of get going a little bit. He's always been very in and out, hasn't he? And that free kick last night was just a glimpse of what he can do. If he's in the squad just to take set pieces, we're better off, because Harry Kane is hopeless at free. I never want to see him take a free kick ever again. It's like when Roy had him taking corners at the Euros. It's just a complete waste of time. And I think it shows that we've got Dyer taking our free kicks instead of Harry Kane. That's how bad at them he is. So yeah, if Lo Celso can do a bit more of what he did last night against better opposition, I think he could force his way in. He could force his way into that Premier League 11 for sure.
Well,
and I think Lo Celso, this is make or break season for him. This is his third season with us.
It's got to be.
Yeah, if he does, I don't know. I think he obviously must have signed a 6-year deal with no break clause and represented by Charlie Kane. But this is it for him. If he doesn't prove it this year, we got to move him on. It's as simple as that.
I agree with you. I think he's a player that I had such high hopes for. I had such high hopes for him and Neville when they came into the team, and it's just been disappointment after disappointment, really. Injuries have played a part, obviously, being in and out of the team. Jose Ball, all very... But he's unshackled this season to a degree, to an extent, and, he can play his natural game. He's an Argentinian international, let's face it. We should be expecting a little bit more from him.
He just won the Copa America, which is like, obviously... It's the best Argentinian team in, I think, since the 90s?
Yeah.
If he can bring a little bit of that Argentinian form to Spurs, then yeah. But again, he's another one. I've always said you need to really, really give Nuno reason to break into that first 11 because they've done a brilliant job. HG, stop it.
Lo Celso confuses me a little bit, though, Lo Celso. Is he someone that unpicks defences and plays a little bit further up? Or is he someone that just breaks play up and gets involved and gets stuck in? He's sort of stuck in between two positions. And I think especially over the last year and a half, we've sort of forced him into the Eriksen position, where maybe that's not what his strengths are. I just feel that he's muddled a little bit. He's a little bit stuck between two positions. And I think once he finds where he naturally wants to play, that's when you'll get the best out of him. And that could be where he plays with Argentina. We need to do something similar like that. I just think he's really stuck between two positions.
He plays on the left of a free for Argentina, doesn't he? I think he has got that ghost of Eriksen over him a little bit because he was always signed as an Eriksen replacement when that's not necessarily what he is.
No, I don't think naturally he is, and that's the problem with Lo Celso.
The big oily lump that is Traore's obviously been rumoured. Wolves apparently have rejected Spurs' offer of a packet of crisps,
Josh Onema,
and Josh Onema, and we might buy him in a year's time if he's any good. Do you think we'll move back in for him, Michael? Because he would offer something different.
I've seen so many people sort of like a negative about the transfer. Me personally, I would bring him in, and I'll put my neck out there. Yeah. Yes, his end product isn't the best, and we're experiencing the same with Bergwijn at the minute, and we have been for the past few months. But he does offer us something different. He's a threat. He's someone that you do not want to play against. He would create so much space for our front three or front two. It'd be unbelievable. The way he gets that wide, the way he just runs at the fullback, the space for Kane, Son, and Moura would be, they'd love it. I just think we need to bring him in. You've got a few more days left of the transfer window. He's definitely a different option that we haven't got. And like we played with Wolves on Sunday, for me, I'd rather him be on my side than play against him. Definitely, 100%.
Absolutely. Shan, question for you. Jack's your other half, right? He's in the army. Is he practicing his commando crawls around the bedroom? And is this something he often does?
I think Pierre's just turned up. Pierre's just knocked on the door.
He's just got back from the pub, and I think he's had a few pints.
Is that why he's crawling?
I don't know what he was doing, to be honest. He sort of stood at the door, blew a kiss, and I thought he's just being irritating because that's what he does. And he was like, squash. Because I went to the shop and bought squash earlier, and I was like, it's down there. So then, he did a log roll behind me, went into the dog bed, got the squash out, laid there, got attacked by little Willow, my dog, and then rolled back again and out. And all the time he was doing that, I was like, piss off, get out. Which is why I obviously put myself on mute.
So it definitely wasn't Højbjerg escaping in the background then, no?
If it was Højbjerg, I'd have been gone.
Or was it Harry Kane working his way back into your affections?
Your heart.
Yeah, that's right. That's
I've
Harry.
just heard him. He's not quite made it down the stairs yet, and he went, "You shush," because he knows what Højbjerg does to me. So
Tommy Asu, what does he do to you, Davo? He's been linked the whole window. I know if Bob was on the show tonight, he'd be going, "Why haven't we signed him yet? Why haven't we signed him yet?" So my question to you is, why haven't we signed him yet? Seems a good fit. Japanese international, could sell a shitload of shirts in the Far East. Why is he not in yet?
Which is the automatic assessment that we make about a player from the Asian markets is he can sell a lot of shirts, which I think Pat Chan on the Patreon chat gets a bit annoyed about. And Pat was saying that Tommy Ace is a good player.
But would he sell a lot of shirts?
Yeah, of course he would.
Well, there you go then. It's a valid point.
Pat got annoyed, not me. So I think Tommy Asu, the thing about Tommy Asu, and it's very important in all the scouting reports, he's not Serge Aurier, so he's got to be better. So look, he can play. It's interesting with him because he can play right back or right of the back three in terms of centre back. So it's kind of like a replica of Tanganga. So I think we've got the flexibility there if we're playing a flat back four or we're going to play or a three at the back to get him in. So if we get him in, send Aurier down in the back of the car when Sissoko turns up for Watford training. I've got my mate here. Can he join as well, like an RD Lesvia situation? Then everyone's laughing. Plus an add-on, of course, because we must have add-ons.
Everyone loves an add-on.
Obviously, I've been on the transfers all day to make sure that the run sheet is completely up to date for tonight. And what I'm seeing,
marks, Shan, top marks.
What I'm seeing is at the minute is that Tommy Asu will only come in if we sell Aurier. Obviously, Lille, they may be Senk might be going to Atletico. So if that happens, then Lille would potentially come in for Aurier. And if they come in for Aurier and Aurier goes, then we'll sign Tommy Asu. And that is what I'm seeing. That's the reports that I've been seeing all day as I've been looking. But yeah, it 100% it depends on Aurier leaving the club for Tommy Asu to come in, because we've got 3 right backs. We've got Jaff. We've got Doherty. I know he's crap, but he's still here. And we've got Aurier, who is a penalty waiting to happen. So obviously at the minute we're stacked in the right back position, and we're not going to get one in until we get one out. So I completely understand why that deal stalled a little bit. But if we get Aurier out, it could definitely happen before deadline day on Tuesday.
Aurier is definitely holding up that deal. Definitely.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. He's again another one who's on. I mean, what did I say? 78k. That is true. Those are true facts from what I've read.
And he's a bad egg as well. Like, look at the Liverpool game, storming 100%. Out of a stadium at half time. Like, who does that? Who does that? It's a ridiculous attitude. And the sooner we get him out of the club, the better. Obviously, he's only got 1 season left. We could. I was talking to someone earlier, and they've said, well, we could sign Tommy Asu and Aurier could rot in the deserves, but we're not going to do that. So
it's still a lot of money. That's the reality of it. If you're paying 70k a week for someone, you don't really want to bring someone else in on 70k a week as well, do you? Or, you know. Well,
exactly. So it's very much Tommy Asu is very much dependent on Aurier leaving the club this summer. So it's one to watch out for, but as it stands, it's not happening because we've still got Aurier at the club.
Kind of regret putting lingonberries in my drink because, like, every now and again I just bump into one and then taste that nice dried. I've got to be honest. Players out then. So Tongi, not hearing anything really now on the Tongi front. Michael,
no.
Is there any chance he could be reintegrated? Do you believe?
Yeah, I do. If he stays and he looks like he's getting his head down training wise. You know, he looks fitter, he looks sharper. If he can do that, you know, in the next few weeks, you know, and get his head down, then why not? For me, he's got so much talent. It's such a waste of a player. He's such a waste of a player. If he goes, then I hope we bring in a quality person to come in and replace him. It just don't look likely with a couple of days to go in the window. I can't see it. I just don't think anyone's going to pay the money. It's going to have to be a loan deal or player swap. But even then, I can't see it. But I would love to see him get his head down and get back in that side, honestly.
What are your hopes and fears, Dave, for deadline day?
Generally or about...
Deadline day. Deadline day. Come on.
We're getting very deep and philosophical. For
No.
morning,
We can cover that after the show, along with your terrible taste in music. If you like. Right here, right now, what he hopes and fears for deadline day. We are going to do a deadline day show, guys. So if you're watching, which there are 232 of you watching live, the Cheese Room right now, we appreciate your support. Bang in the super chat, subscribe, like, share, smash that like button up to hear Dave give his deadline day hopes and fears. What could be better than that? Dave, over to you.
Okay, my biggest fear is that we don't sign another striker. We need a striker. Okay, so it looks like that we'll be going back to Son and Kane up top with Bergwijn or Moura. That's great. I've got a real concern about our squad depth here. So number one fear is we don't get a striker. I think the second fear would be a midfield player doesn't offer something different. I think with the challenge, as I keep saying, the challenge for us, teams can come down to the lane and sit back, and they sit, defend deep. We haven't got enough guile to break them down. And the third fear, well, look, if Romero gets injured, then we're going to have a Sanchez or Dyer situation for the whole season.
A dire situation.
Oh, very good, very good. So my number one fear is about another striker. We just have. I don't know any other club that doesn't sign a striker easily and have one around. Okay, we need to get one in.
It's strange, isn't it? Really, it's a bit weird. I mean, we had Llorente, obviously. We just don't seem to get decent second strikers in. Whether the common excuse is no one wants to play a backup to Kane, which I kind of get to a degree, but you'd have thought we'd get some like up and coming player who wants. I mean, I guess we had Vinicius last year, but he was pretty crap, wasn't he?
Vinicius is very left foot. I'm sorry, Shan, but Vinicius was so left-footed.
Yeah,
it was ridiculous. He wasn't good enough.
He wasn't good.
No, and the thing about Llorente, I thought he was a good signing, but we never played to his strengths. I mean, the only one or two goals he got for us really was when Rose was pinging down the left and he put in a decent cross in for him to put on his head. That was playing to Llorente's strengths, which we didn't really do. So I think, and don't forget, Madrid away, Poch played Kane and Llorente up top, and was that was a great tactical masterclass from Poch then. So it's
was
possible.
The odd one.
Yeah. But there was,
Go on, sir.
Yeah.
Michael, talk.
No, I was just going to say, I can't believe we didn't go for Danny Ings. I can't believe that money, that price. I know he's gone to Villa now, but I still can't get over the fact we didn't go for Danny Ings. It honestly baffles me. 25 million
would never come in to be back up to Kane. No, he wants to be the main man, and he knows at Villa, as good as Ollie Watkins is, he knows that
Watkins is a winger though. He is.
But obviously Danny Ings, he knows he's going to go to Villa and he's going to be the main man, and like when if he comes to Tottenham, he ain't going to be the main man, is he? Like we could challenge, we could pay more than Villa, we could give him better wages, but he's not going to want to sit on the bench while Harry Kane does his thing. And then think, and then we've got two injury-prone strikers instead of one. Obviously, Harry Kane has glass ankles. Danny Ings has a glass knee. He's like Ledley King, but the striker version.
Yeah.
Like I just think, I think he would have been a quality addition to the squad, but I never thought he would come to Spurs because he'd be in the shadow of Harry Kane, and he'd be on the bench unless we went to like a 4-4-2 or. Like a 5.
Because that's what Nuno likes to do, isn't it? Go to two up front. And I thought that could be an opening for Danny Ings to come in.
Well, that's where these Martinez rumours came from. Obviously, Lautaro Martinez, he's not great as the number one striker like Lukaku is, but he's a very good second striker. And obviously, we were looking at signing Lautaro Martinez. If it weren't for Chelsea swooping in for Lukaku, he would have been at Spurs now. But I think with Danny Ings, he wants to be the main man. He's getting to the twilight of his career. He's not going to want to come to Spurs and mostly sit on the bench. I think if we're being realistic, that's what's going to happen. I think it would have been a great signing for us, but I don't think we'd have been able to meet his needs. I think we're at Villa, he's the main man. He's going to be scoring all the goals for them, and he'll be everyone's hero. Whereas if he comes to Spurs, you've got Kane, you've got Son, you've got so much talent there that he wouldn't be the main man at Spurs, would he?
No, he wouldn't be the main man. I just think with at a stage of his career, I think a club like Spurs coming in for you, I think that'd be hard to turn down at the same time. As long as we can pay the wage, like the person said there, as long as we paid that wage, I mean, I don't think Spurs would pay 150 grand a week for Danny Ings. But I just feel a club like Spurs coming in for his age, I think that's a great move for him still.
Oh, 100%. And Eddie Ryan's comment, Southampton wouldn't have sold him to us, is completely correct, because we completely screwed him over with the Højbjerg deal.
Yeah.
So it's little things like this. I know we've brought Paratici in to obviously try and get away from Daniel Levy dealing with transfers, but the ghost of Daniel Levy is still going to linger over a lot of people that have dealt with Spurs in the past. So Southampton, I think, for a little while are just going to be a little bit like healing their wounds over what we did to them with Højbjerg. So I think, Danny Ings, I would have loved to sign Danny Ings, but I just think for the player, with the situations between both clubs, I just don't think it was very likely. I think we definitely do need to sign a backup striker. And obviously we were in for Martinez, who would have been massive. So I can't believe that we'd stump up 90 million euro for a player. And obviously we were keen to do that, to play alongside Kane, and that would have been amazing. But obviously Chelsea ruined it for us. So we've got another thing to hate them for at the end of the day.
Yeah. It's a fair point, this, with Bale and Carlo Vinicius gone. I mean, let's put it in real context. Vinicius scored one league goal and it was a tap-in. I could have finished that goal. But with Bale and Carlo gone, we need to replace 25 goals. Who's going to do that? Dave, we've got to sign a striker, haven't we, before deadline day? But there doesn't seem to be any in the offing, really. There's no one we're really linked with.
No, I mean, and that's the worry, because Ings, we should have bought him, and I think that I know you're saying that he wouldn't have been the main man, but I think that Nuno would have played two up top.
Yeah.
Harry's glass ankles. There would have been plenty of opportunities for Ings, in my opinion. So we should do that. But who is there now? I mean, we're not even being linked. I mean, I think the idea was to get Traore in, and you had Son is your second striker, which I don't agree with that at all. And there's no one around. So who is there left now that we could get in? I mean,
well, there's loads of players, just none you've never heard of. I would imagine it's a Jorge Mendes client that a bit like Vinicius, that we're going to get lastminute.com to fill a gap.
Yeah, and that might be it. And that's in the end of the day, that's fine. But the likes of making bids for Bamford or Calvin Lewin or something like that. I mean, what the situation would have been was we'd have sold Kane and then chucked in a 90 million bid for Calvin Lewin or Bamford the last day of the window, and Leeds and Everton would have rightly told us to piss off.
Well, either of those would be a disaster anyway, to be honest. But what about this one, Tony, Ivan Toney? He tore it up, didn't he, last season? He's only 2 games in, but he's looked all right so far. What are your thoughts on him, Michael?
Yeah, no, I like him. I liked him. We played them in the Carabao Cup last year, and I thought he played all right in that game as well. Yeah. Scores goals. Yeah, I think, again, another player that would jump at the chance to come to Spurs if the offer was there. Especially, playing at Brentford. Obviously, no disrespect for Brentford, but if someone like Spurs comes in, you're gonna jump at that opportunity. But yeah, I'd have him. I'd definitely take him to improve the squad, to give us another option up top.
One for you, Davo. Martial, loan to buy.
I'd have him on a loan, but not to buy. I mean, he could do a job. But I mean, if there was ever a player who has just got lots of potential and has never delivered, he'd be quite good with Ndombele. They could train together. That would work out well.
I just want to say as well, I think we're being a bit dismissive of Sonny up top. His stats, I think it's 49 goals in something like 52 appearances where he's played and Harry Kane has been injured. He's played up top. He's scored 49 goals in 52 or 53 appearances, something like that. I think we're being quite playing him as a false 9 gives us another dimension. That front three can interchange. It gives us pace up top. Harry Kane's as slow as me. I'm not fast. Harry Kane is as slow as me. You get Sonny.
I saw you racing towards the bar at the stadium the other week. I don't know what you're talking about. You're quick over 5 yards.
That's a lie, because Bren went to the bar. But yeah, no, I think Sonny up top gives us another dimension. I think against your cities, against your teams where you're going to be defended and you're going to be hitting them on the counter and you're going to do that high press from the top, that doesn't suit players like Kane, because Kane is like a slug. You're going to want Sonny, Lucas, Bergwijn. You're going to want that pace up top. You're going to want them interchaining, interchanging. That defenders don't know how to defend against that. Yeah, against your Watfords, against your Brentfords, against your Arsenals, because let's be honest, they're in that caliber now. They're having a tough start. So against teams like that, yeah, play Harry Kane up top. But I think it's nice to have that we're not just relying on Kane all the time. I think the best thing that's come from this Harry Kane situation is we've seen how dynamic Son, Kane, and Lucas can be, and their speed and winning the ball back and that high press. I think we're being massively dismissive of how effective Sonny can be. And let's be honest, how often are Kane and Sonny injured at the same time? It's not that there was that one time where we had to play
2 years
kids
ago.
against
Yeah.
RB. Yeah, but there was that one time against RB Leipzig where we had to play kids. But like in the time that both of them have been at the club, how often have we
had that one period under Mourinho, didn't we, when we lost them for about 5 or 6 games, wasn't it?
In that season we sacked Poch and we were still in the Champions League and we got knocked out to Leipzig. That was that one time we were very unfortunate, and I think even Bergwijn was injured. So we had 3 forwards out for that game, and it's very rare that sort of thing happens. But like, I think we're being massively dismissive of what Sonny can do. He's so versatile. And like I've always said, I think Sonny is much more important to this Tottenham team than Kane is.
Yeah.
Just because of how versatile he is. He can play across the front 3. He gives us just that little bit more. Like, obviously, he's mega likable. He's loyal to the club. I mean, Harry Kane's the best number 9 in the world, but playing Sonny in that false 9 just gives us another dimension. And I think, yeah, we need to sign a backup striker, but that's what they'll be. They'll be a backup, which makes it very, very difficult. I think we'll probably get 2 more signings in before the end of the window, and I think that'll be a right back if Aurier goes. If Aurier goes, we'll be in for Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu will come in and he'll slot into that right back slot, and he can play across the back line, which is obviously very good. And I think it'll be either another CAM or right winger. I don't think we'll get a striker in this window from what I'm looking at, and I think. Like what I've said, Nuno has seen what Sonny can do up top. And I think if we can protect Sonny and Kane, we've got 2 very different ways of playing. And the opposition won't know what to expect. I think that's a really, really good thing for Spurs. I think people are being very dismissive of our squad this season, saying we're a lot weaker than we were last season. But we've got a coach, not an ego. And I think that's the big thing. Nuno is the key to our season. He can make players better. And if he can get us playing a good brand of football and changing it up and changing how we play against certain opposition, we could be that team that really, really pisses other teams off this season. And I think we could be a bit of a dark horse, like not for the league. We're not going to win the league, but for that top 4, I think it will be very close between 4th and 5th for us. I think that'll be where there or thereabouts. But we need to get in either a CAM or a right winger. Obviously, the Traore is still but he's still. That's not gone completely quiet. I think it's a complicated deal, but it could still happen. And Traore, I know, obviously myself included, he's not what I agree. We need a striker more than we need a CAM or a right winger, but he can make so much space for Kane, Son, Bergwijn, all those lot coming up. Because he pulls 2-3 players out of position when he's got the ball, because you don't know what he's going to do. And if we get him in and Tomiyasu, I think we could have a brilliant season. I think our own fans are being way too dismissive of what we can do with Nuno in charge. I think we've just got that little bit of, you don't quite know what we're going to do. We're not the Harry Kane team. We can do something different. If we teams against Man City, play that front 3, they can't deal with our speed. They've got Fernandinho in midfield. He's never going to keep up with Lucas for pace. Let's do it. Let's change it up a little bit. Harry Kane needs to realise that he ain't the number 1 guy anymore, and he ain't. We can do it. We can do well without him. Sorry, I've gone on a bit of a.
No, and I've got to say that is the longest monologue since HD joined the channel, which is fantastic, by the way. Really good.
I'm just bringing some positivity, because I think there's been a lot of. Paratici's not done what we needed to do. We've got a lot of toxicity out of the club this season. Let's be serious. We've brought in some great young talent. Yes, it might be for the future, but we need to think about the future as well, because that's the reason we've got into this mess. We had an aging squad that was on its way out, and what do you want these guys to do? They're not going to do it all in one season. We're not.
I see today as well. I see Lloris is our only player over 30 now in the squad.
Exactly.
Paratici at Juve did exactly the same. Bought loads youth coming through, brought loads of up and coming players. And I genuinely think that we're going to be stacked with them going forward, because I think he will load up a lot of youth players every single year.
Mixing in with Skippy and Scarlett and players like that.
Absolutely. But that's the way you've got to do it. You've got to start somewhere, and this is his first summer at the club. But those players are going to mature 2-3 years down the line. These are going to be first-team players, but there'll be another lot behind them and another lot behind them. And once you get that cycle down the line, and look, a lot of people get frustrated on Spurs social media. We're not signing Messi or Ronaldo. Spurs are not that club. Spurs are not that club. If you're looking for that, don't support Spurs. I'm being probably a twat here. I'm sorry. It's the truth. We are not gonna pay £500,000 a week on wages. We're not going to pay £100 million transfer fees. It's just not going to happen under the current ownership. And I respect everyone's view about the owners completely, and yours entirely, Dave. You are the massive ENIC out representative on this show. But I wouldn't want my club to be run by that. I wouldn't want Spurs to be run by the sheikhs that run Man City, and Chelsea. Would you really want to buy the league every year? We've got to get our youth sorted. And you are quite right, Shan. It's the absolute reason we are in this mess in the first place, is because there are no people coming through right now. There are none.
And Paratici must have looked at that before he took the job. He must have looked at what we've been doing over the last couple of years, see where we've gone wrong, see how he can make it right. And looks like he's trying to do that now. Yeah.
Can I just come back on a couple of points to that, if that's okay?
No, it's not. Of course it is different.
So firstly, and I mean this generally, Shan, that was a cracking monologue, passionate, sums it all up. Because to be honest, the first half of this summer, in terms of the managerial chase, we've been made to look like a laughing stock, right? And the fact that we've got Nuno in, okay, so if he wasn't Conte, he wasn't Poch coming back, or Nagelsmann or Rodgers. If I look at Nuno compared to Fonseca or Gattuso, whatever, or Potter, I think that then we've got a guy in who did a great job at Wolves, and under difficult circumstances had a tough last season at Wolves. So I'm pleased that we got him in. Don't forget, Klopp had a shocking last season at Dortmund before he went to Liverpool. So I'm pleased about that. I think in terms of the recruitment thing, no, we are not going to buy Ronaldo. We're not going to buy Messi. But what has frustrated me over the last 3 or 4 seasons is that when the players have been available in the market, and I'm talking about your Maddisons, your Maguires, your Watkins, your Grealish, all those players,
up and coming players,
up and coming players who are used to playing in English conditions. We have, Watkins was available for 25-30 million last season, and Levy wouldn't pay the money. So where Levy is good, and I've said the words Levy is good.
I'm just impressed by that, if I'm being really honest.
Is that when he sells, he knows what his price is and he sticks to it, right? But where his stubbornness comes in, and he doesn't pay that extra 5-10 for your Skriniars, your Brunos, all of that. That's the frustrating thing for me as a Tottenham supporter.
Yeah.
The other point is Son. I'm not dismissive about Son as a central striker, and you made a really good point, Sean. What would be a really good test for Nuno is that when we're playing, I think your Liverpools, your Chelseas, and your Cities, Kane possibly shouldn't start from a tactical point of view, and you play Son up top. That's never going to happen. But from a footballing point of view, to have more pace interchangeable, we should do that and bring Kane off the bench. And he would hate that. We'd know that. My concern about Son is the last third of last season, his form dropped off a cliff. He looked absolutely knackered because we were overplaying him and Kane. So that's why I want another body up top.
He'd had no break last summer as well, though, had he? He'd had no pre-season. I mean, that's different this year, to be fair.
But he was obviously away with, he played with South Korea over the break. Obviously, he didn't have a tournament to play in or anything like that.
No, he didn't play this summer.
No. I think he had maybe 1 or 2 games to start some. But my point is, it's a long season. We've got to rotate them, and that's why we need another body up top.
Yeah, I agree. That striker coming in is not to displace Son or to overlook Son. That is to just add depth to the squad, literally, so we can rotate and refresh.
Yes.
That's
I
exactly
don't think we're getting a striker this summer, though, and I think. Again, we've got obviously last season we were playing Kane and Son in a lot of the European games. We don't need to do that this time. We've got Brian Hill. He's more than capable of taking Sonny's place on the left. We saw that. Dane Scarlett. I mean, we shouldn't be relying on Dane Scarlett, but in these European Conference League games, it
ain't Europa League, is it? It's not the Champions League, so we can go a little bit thinner, can't we?
Exactly, like at the home, like I think it was Caller said earlier, the home games, or Dave, the home games, we can go a little bit stronger. We can give Harry 45 and Sonny 45, and that way we're not overplaying them. But just send the kids to the like I said, we've not got a lot of air miles. I think, yes, we need a striker, and I've said that all along. We need a striker, we need a CAM, we need a right winger, and we need a right back. We need 4 players, but we're not going to get that in this window. I think we all knew this rebuild was going to be painful, whether we like it or not. We woefully, I mean, Daniel Levy, for all his faults, for all his whatever he does that's good, should have spent a little bit, even if we got 1 or 2 players in while we were building the stadium. That squad went stale, and I think we're still dealing with the repercussions of that. I think that's why we're getting a lot of young talent in at the minute. But we can't do it all in one transfer window, especially when we've had a season with no income except for TV rights. We've had no fans in the stadium. You think food and drinks, it's $1 million a game day alone. That's without season tickets,
and that's just
memberships. That's just Caller getting on one of our own beers and the pies at the stadium.
Whoa! Leave out the pies.
But we need
all the pies.
I know I'm on a massive positivity rant this evening, but I think we need to put everything into perspective a little bit, and that's why we're seeing a lot of these loan with obligation to buy deals. I know Romero, we couldn't do anything but that. I think we would have probably paid 47 million for him if we could. But yeah, we need to really be realistic about where we are as a club at the minute. We're not going to attract your Messis, your Ronaldos. We're in the Conference League. We need to be realistic. Yes, we could do with a striker, but I don't think that's going to happen this window. But yeah, I think we can expect 1 or 2 more. 2 depending on if Aurier goes out the door, which I think he probably will. I think we'll get Tommy Asu in. It will be a deadline day special. We know Levy loves those, and I think we'll probably get a right winger. We'll either get Traore or a CAM, I think.
Yeah. How about the young kids, Barca, the Mariba? That looks close. From what I've heard and what I've read, that could be one of the signings before Tuesday. So
I think we've got to get Ndebele off the books. Truth be told, it's $200,000 a week.
And I think it's another one.
And that's the problem. Also, that's the problem.
It's another one for the future. And we, like Dave said, we need players for now. I'll never disagree when people say we need first team players for now. We 100% do need first team players for now. And we do definitely, we need a forward, whether it's a striker, a right winger, or a CAM. We need someone that can add goals to this team. And
that's why I think they're looking at Traore, because I think they can. Yeah. They can bring him in and then obviously use him as how they wish, in that front three, as a flying wing back, whatever they want to use him for. It's just whether they always want to sell with the option or obligation. I don't know where that is at the minute in terms of a deal, but I've heard they don't want to sell him anymore. So we'll see what happens there.
Wolves want the cash, don't they? Wolves want.
They want to sell.
In the Wolves world, they want 45 million quid up front, and we want to pay it on the never. That's the reality of it.
But I think that's their option of not bringing in, of the hassle of trying to bring a striker in to compete with Kane or sit on the bench. Yeah. I think Traore is the perfect answer because you haven't got that problem then, have you? It's not an issue.
Yeah, and he can play on the right. He can play across. He can play left or right. So
anywhere.
And you've got Lucas as well, you could always play Lucas as a false 9. Lucas has got it in him. His finishing's good. He's got a good head on him. If Sonny's out or Sonny needs a rest, play Lucas as a false 9 and have Traore on the right, Bergwijn on the left, and I think we'd be all right with that. But we need to sign another forward. Like I said, I don't think Traore's done. I think it's complicated, so it might I think it'll be one of those that it goes to deadline day, and then we either pay the cash or we don't. But I do think he'll be a good addition to the squad at least. I think he gives us more options up top, and that's what we need. But I think if Serge goes, I really hope Serge goes and we get Tommy Asu in, because I think that would be a cracking signing.
Final question for you all, because we're talking of dragging on, that's the last thing we want to do. How do you guys feel about Ronaldo coming to the Premier League? Dave, you're normally the most excitable one amongst all of us. How do you feel about this?
Can I just on the excitable point? You've got to bear in mind that this starts at 6 a.m. in the morning. This is Friday night for you guys. You can have a few drinks, be relaxed, and all that.
It's
kind
nearly
of stuff.
8 now.
Yeah, all right. I've been on here for the whole
You'll be
2
on the
hours.
vodka now. Come on.
It's not the 90s. So Ronaldo coming back. Look, I think all those United fans who live in Surrey are going to be absolutely delighted about it. They'll be clogging up the M1 every other weekend. But it's a sentimentality, isn't it? He's 36. He's obviously still a great player, but he'll have to play centre up top, and he won't be doing much running around with a press or anything like that. And as long as Solskjaer remains their manager, then I'm delighted.
Well, exactly. If Solskjaer's the manager of Man United, they ain't winning shit all. Shan, Ronaldo, I mean, I'm surprised. It's no battle for your affections between Ronnie and Højbjerg, is it?
No. I think it's nice to see him back in the Premier League. I'm really, really happy he didn't go to City because that's brilliant. That's made my day. I'm glad he's gone back to United because, like Dave said, obviously, as long as they've got Ole in charge, they're not really a threat because he won't. I think with a decent coach or manager, they could win the league with the team they've got. They've got so much like talent and quality in that team, but as long as Ole's got to know how to use it, and I think that's the problem with Manchester United. I think they'll be in the top 4, but I think for them to push on to the title is a bit too much to ask.
A lot of egos there as well, Michael.
Yeah, and just with the shirt number I was saying earlier, there's going to be a bit of a little ding dong there with Cavani. But for me, I like Ronaldo's quality. Do you know what I mean? It just shows how good the Premier League is. We can still attract these players coming in, and like they said, for me, as long as he didn't go to City or Chelsea, if I could pick someone other than Spurs, it'd be Man United, obviously. But yeah, no, I think it's a great advert for the Premier League, and this league's getting stronger. We're getting more and more stars coming over, especially in this window. So I think it's great. Yeah, it's good for the Premier League.
Well, look, we're going to have some great coverage of Deadline Day, I think. I haven't quite worked out what we're going to do this show. Maybe you can let us know in the comments, especially if you're watching on catch-up. Should we do a special show for Deadline Day, or should we just move the Monday show to the Tuesday? I've got this dream that we do a show that goes on for a long time, and various people just pop in and out of it all night long on Deadline Day.
Outside Hotspur Way.
Well, in this beautiful virtual room.
But live from outside Hotspur Way.
Yeah, exactly. The old car window.
Or to get old Jamie from Sky Sports on the show. He's not been on for a while. So, he could. I'm sure he'll be working that night 100%. But if we could get him to call into the studio while he's sat outside Watford training ground or wherever he is, that'd be great. Shan, as ever, thanks for joining me. It's been brilliant to have you on. Lots of love for you in the chat. Give me your Twitter. What's your Twitter? Let's get you some followers.
At Cheese Room Shan.
There you go.
At Cheese Room Shan. Cheese Room through and through me. So yeah, Cheese Room Shan on Twitter. And you can see me here whether it's from car parks, from Pleasure Beach, from home. I'll always be at the Cheese Room. So yeah, you could. As Sam says, I'm good. My lighting is better in the car than it is in here. So take of that what you will. I was terrified that Andy might be in the bushes because obviously I've obviously upset him quite a lot, and he's probably even more upset now. I was going to tweet him the other day, but I thought that would be a bit much. So yeah, obviously at Cheese Room Shan on Twitter. Great to be here. Great to be regular on the show. Obviously, caller for the season. Thank you to you for giving me the opportunity, and over to Davo.
Dave, how can we follow you on Twitter?
I think I'm going to start crying with that emotion. That was just the love for Caller. Honestly, if I had,
can we follow you on Twitter?
You can't follow me on Twitter. You can follow my brother on Twitter. He's very popular. And so, happy birthday, Paul! It's his birthday this week. Love you lots. So no, you can't follow me on Twitter. But you're trying to persuade me. I'll have a think about it.
I'm thinking of banning him from the Cheese Room until he does what I want him to do. So there you go.
That sounds a bit ominous.
One man who is on Twitter, Michael, how you doing?
Yeah. So you can catch me on Tottenham _feeds. I'm also on Facebook. I've got a Facebook Spurs group, that Tottenham group, which I started November last year. It's just got up to 15,000 members now. So I'll just share anything I can from Spurs news. I love getting people's opinions, debates. I love starting debates on there. So yeah, check us out on Facebook and then follow me on Twitter if you can. That'd be brilliant.
We absolutely will, and hopefully you'll come back on the show.
Yeah, definitely. I've enjoyed it. I've watched a few shows. I've seen some of the banter and stuff. I've seen some of the good discussions, the passion and stuff. Yeah, it's been brilliant. I've enjoyed it.
Good stuff. And until next time, I guess it's goodbye from me. I think Michael, you're at the game. Shan, you're at the game.
Yeah.
Dave, you're in Australia, so probably not really.
I can't get more than 5 kilometres from where I live at the moment. So I'll be watching it. It's on 11 o'clock Sunday night. I'll be watching it.
Come on, you Spurs!
Come on, you Spurs!
That was.